almost all my adult life, I've been making a quilt. This quilt is composed of bits and scraps of everything I've ever owned, because I can never throw anything away. It's enormous, it's the size of my sitting room, but I can't ever imagine finishing it because I'm very superstitious, and I have an idea that because this quilt is my life, if I finish the quilt, I will die. So it's an endless quilt about which I have written a poem. The quilt. The quilt's a ragtag syzygy of everything I've been or done, a knotted spell in every seam, the stuff that pricks and pulls. The quilt began in '96. I scrapped the blotch batiks and brocatelles, each backward-bending paisley hook that tied me to my town. The quilt came with me when I packed and left. A bad patch, that. You'll see I've sewn a worried blot of grey and black to mark a bruisey year. The quilt advances in a shock campaign through block fluorescent souvenirs of seedy clubs and bad side trance and peters out in blue. The quilt came with me when I ditched the scene and dressed myself as someone new, or someone else at any rate, and someone better too. I felt a charlatan in borrowed suits and flower prints and pastel hues, but things had turned respectable, and so I stitched that in. The quilt has tessellated all of it, arranged like faithful paladins, a half a dozen bits and scraps from those who took a turn, then split. The dapper one, the rugby fan, the one who liked his gabardine, the one who didn't want to be another patch in your fucking quilt, but got there all the same. The quilt is lined with all the bitter stuff I couldn't swallow at the time. The lemon yellow calico I never wore again, the guilt snuck into every thread of it and chafed all through the honeymoon. I scissored out the heart of it and stitched it, fixed it, final here, with every other bright mistake I wear like anyone.